the blade, charts on fire, red and green like a funeral pyre. Discord screaming LFG, but my portfolio's haunting me. Spiked my coffee with regret. Last night I longed to break out bet. Now I'm broke, not broken yet. Just one more pump, I won't forget. Buy high, die huddling. The 10 brain dopamine's controlling. Ride the whale or get wrecked clean. This crypto dream's a guillotine. Fake guru with 1,000 subs showed me coins in shady clubs. Promised moons, Lambos and jets. Now I'm left with JPEGs and debts. Scalped my soul in a 5-minute chart. Market dumped and it ripped my heart. But I'll reload, I'll play to win. Even if I lose it all again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. FOMO's gone, creates the king. This crypto dream's a punk rock thing. In the glass, risk it all, no brakes, full gas. Liquidation, call me sweet. Whisper welcome to defeat. No stop loss, no regrets. Code and chaos, no safety nets. Satoshi's ghost in my DMs told me to aim again and again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. If I crash, at least I tried. In this wild west of blockchain rights. I'll be trading till the lights go out. Charts are noise, but I live for the sound. One candle spike, and I'm back in town. Crypto's a fight, and I'm 10 toes down. Diamond hands with the crack in the glass. Risk it all, no brakes, full gas. But I'll reload, I play to win. Even if I lose it all again.
What's up, guys? How's it going? All right. Well, Bitcoin's at a great spot to prepare for longs, right up Valley area low. We'll go through that in a moment. Okay, what we got in the chat? We've got Coma. How you doing, man? Usually here first. Diamond Palm. That's a big damn boy. I am a big boy. Thanks, Diamond. Hey, Sterling. How you doing, bro? You got Gear, Manny Box, Melissa. Don't know crypto. Hopefully we can change that name to Do Know Crypto. We got Noah, what's up, man? Wayne, Jeff, Josh, Mazen, Blackwater, BB, Brett, Entree, what's up? How you guys doing? You took 2 SFPs yesterday, Coma, and the third played out. Yesterday, it was a weekend. It was a really low volume. I guess we had that staircasing kind of behavior before. So, yeah, as we get closer and closer to a Valley area low, you can trust the SFPs a little more and more, man. I'm assuming if you took the SFPs, it would have been like this one here. Then we had one right here. Yeah, and depending on how you got out, they both didn't hit their technical target, which is the most recent pullback high, right? But then we had that sweep of this low, which is the third one that you likely took. That did pretty darn good. And it ran up and hit the volume shelf as resistance and came right back down this morning. Yeah, good job, man. But yeah, right now, for new opportunities, we had a zone of interest right pretty much where that SFP you were talking about there, Coma, was one of our zones of interest that we were looking for longs off of. And that would probably be the only one you could have gotten. Oh, it is the only one you could have gotten, was the SFP opportunity. Definitely hit way past its technical target for that sweep, because if you look at the most recent pullback, it was like right here, and we bursted right through us, gave us a change of character, and then hit the previous lows in the volume shelf here and came right back down. But now we're getting squeezed against this valley area low that we've been consolidating in this valley area for almost a month now, ever since we came down here in like the 17th of November. We have some confluences down here. If we deviate from this valley area, right, we have the hourly order block. We got the previous point of control. So if we look for the structural evidence of support through like a bullish change character, for example, or maybe an SFP sweep off this wick level low here, you can get yourself a long opportunity. If you take the SFP, just know the technical target of an SFP is just the most recent pullback. But if you do get that change of character, that can tell you to hold that trade a little longer. The clairvoyant strategy rules are almost met for a long. You just got to wait for the bullish change of character alongside the break of the downtrending momentum. And then you start targeting the opposite side of the valley area, the valley area high at 93K again. We do have the barriers, like some obvious barriers. We have the volume shelf here that we were talking about before that we used consistently as support and resistance throughout this range, right? If we manage to get past that, then getting to the valley area high will be much easier. But we have a 30-minute order block and an hourly order block here at 91.9, just above the point of control, which in itself is also a barrier. But yeah, the main boss, in my opinion, would be this local resistance. If we get past that, it's gonna be a lot easier for us to get that rotation to the valley high. We could have positioning for a long like here. Like we don't have to get to this zone of interest, right? Because we're currently in a large zone of interest. Like as soon as you get below the valley area, you should have your bull goggles on, preparing for potential longs. Unless you see, of course, the valley area act as resistance, then you can see continuation structure to bring you down lower. But here, what we could end up having is like a pullback to the 15-minute orb. And when we get that, maybe a lower low and a change of character occurrence with acceptance into that orb, that'll be good confluence for a long. Because normally when you get acceptance inside the 15-minute orb, we have a rotation to the opposite side of that level, as long as there's no barriers along the way. And the only one I could see, there's nothing structurally in our way, but we could have this VWAP here that could act as a form of resistance as well. So I'm basically now just waiting on structure. Is all I really got to say. Is just, we're at the area where we prepare for longs. We just got to wait for the structural evidence that support's going to be had here. And if we do get that support reaction, then I'll be giving you guys a signal inside the Discord. But we do have some levels if we don't have any bullish structure, like sooner rather than later. Like we got this level here I just mentioned. We got a wick level here. We have a demand zone here, and we got a wick level here where we can get sweeps off of these key areas for liquidity grabs and short-term reversals. And that could, evolve to become more of a longer-term reversal if we get the bullish change to characters afterwards. What do we have in the chat now? And Dusty's not liking Bitcoin right now. Okay, what do we have? Both half system sizes. Okay, I got you. So you're Luke. What's up, man? Been with you for all 20 months. Know a lot more of the same. Oh, cool. Right on. What's up, man? Are you using an indicator for your break structure SFP, or is that just manual? This, I'm using an indicator. I use 11x for my indicator. A lot of the indicators when it comes to market structure will give you false SFPs or false changes to character, because a lot of them get confused by internal structure. But yeah, 11x has it all figured out. So it's probably the best market structure indicator I've ever seen. It sometimes catches things that I don't even notice. But yeah, you don't need to have it. You're right in the sense where you can just manually draw it yourself. But it does make things a lot more easier and faster, more relaxing. And you can set alerts for when a change of character occurs or when an SFP occurs, if that's one of your primary structural rules for entering a trade. Satoshi, what's up? Bitcoin long rise process in 2026. Bitcoin had a benchmark in the crypto. Yeah. What time frame structure are you preferring for the possible? Yeah, for this move, I'm preferring the 15-minute or above. Like, if you, like right now, because where the 15-minute is kind of structured or postured, its key level for a change of character to go bullish again is way up here. So I'm hoping for like a 2-candle pullback and a lower low to evolve our key level. But yeah, I prefer the 15-minute. The bias right now for the 15-minute has flipped bearish ever since we closed below this wick. This morning when we were preparing for our trades, we were really hopeful for an SFP, or at least I was. An SFP that closed inside the orb. If we had that simultaneous like sweep of the low, closing the orb, I would have taken that long, and the technical target would have been like up here, because that's the most recent proper pullback. But I would have looked at this low here for my primary target for the SFP and watching the VWAP along the way. But yeah. No problem, man. Yeah, I prefer the 15. A 3-minute is great to front run 15-minute price action, but we don't really have a scenario played out for us or something like that. So if I were to use like the 3-minute, I would already have my 15-minute rules met in most of the scenarios that I would use the 3-minute on. So for example, if we broke this, got the change of character, I'll be looking for like a pullback and then using 3-minute structure within the pullback, maybe off like a golden pocket or a 786, looking for like a 3-minute bullish change of character to front run the unclaimed high of the 15. But right now we don't have a scenario like that yet. If we flip bullish, like I get a 15-minute change of character and I don't like the risk to reward ratio, then I usually start diving into lower time frames to like try to find like a pullback retracement key level so I can get in on like the 3-minute. Bitcoin is, that's funny. All right, let's take a look at any other assets you guys want to look at. So right now, just a quick recap of what I'm preparing for with Bitcoin is the hopeful posture of like a bullish change of character around here. Based on momentum, it does look like it could take some time. Like it does suggest if we were to consolidate here before we filled this negative space, it's like 2 days. And if we look at the past of every single time we got below this valley area low, if we consolidate down here for about 5 days, we had this inverse head and shoulders here that helped us with a great long. That consolidated for a day and 7 hours. So we could be here between, a day and 5 days again if we were to consolidate below this valley area low. But consolidation, yeah, it sucks because it usually means you have to wait a little time for you to get that trade entry, but it does like build liquidity to help support the bias of your setup. So the consolidation's good, and it'll give you a good key, easy to find level for longs. And since we're, below this valley area low, we have a lot of confidence already met for preparing for those longs. We just got to get that acceptance into the valley area. And if we don't get the bullish posture here and we get it way down here, the main thing that changes is that we have to watch the valley area as a form of resistance, right? When we deviate too far away, if it acts as a form of resistance, then we can end up continuing going down a lot lower. I'm kind of optimistic based on the on-chain data that we're not likely going to see like anything that much lower than where we are now. Like on-chain data suggests that we're like a really good spot to for like a macro reversal, potentially back to like 107K or higher. But until we get the more macro structural evidence of reversal, then we can't assume that we're going to get a macro reversal yet. It's just good to try to front run those levels. Like whenever we have, let's say, a bullish positioning at the bottom of the valley area, either be here or here or here, your main goal is to like prepare to get out at the valley area high. But if you're able to identify continuations to convert your short-term range trade into a swing trade, then you're going to be laughing when we get up here and we get that break of structure continuation instead of the opposing change of character or a bearish SFP. But yeah, hopefully we get that front run to the break for the continuation, and then we'll flip bullish again up here on the daily, unless on the daily we come down and sweep this low first. If we sweep the low first, then our key level for the daily posture will change from here to here, and then we'll have our daily market structure traders will also respond to a break like that, with likely the confidence of breaking the 50-day EMA and just riding it up towards the 200 as a primary level to potentially prepare to take profits. Like right now that's aligned with an hourly order block, but we'll see what kind of alignment we have when we actually do confirm the reversal. But yeah, right now it's just preparing for the short-term range trade in hopes that we do get that kind of continuation, but we're sitting on our hands for now. We're building a bit of a crunch right now, so if we had another like impulse move down and we came down through here, then this was going to act like a form of supply. And if it acts as supply, then we have to watch it likely acting as resistance, at least the first time we come through this area. But that is Bitcoin. Any assets you guys want to look at, want me to take a peek at? So we got requests to look at Cardano, Polkadot, and Link, and Zcash. He coughed. It's a sign. Oh, dude, I've been coughing for like a week and a half. I wouldn't read into it. That's okay. Let's go for Cardano first. I know Brian's been looking at that one a lot lately. It's one of our coaches. Yeah, the last opportunity that I saw here was with Chow, one of our members. We were in the live trading channel and we saw the sweep of this low, similar to the Bitcoin SFP that Koma was talking about, where we kind of this regression trend along the way down and targeting this supply up here. We were worried about this one here. We hit our head off it, but we ended up eventually reaching our target. We can delete this stuff now though, because it's been mitigated. And zoom out on the I got lots of noise on this chart right now. Let's update some of this. So this is the pace of the sellers. We had some negative space here, but then we filled it from this awkward pump. Now Cardano's coming back down. We can update this pull. We gotta include the supply into this pull since we mitigated it here. We can delete this or unlock it first. I'll move it over here where we have an order block. Okay. Then we have this internal momentum here. But yeah, just like Bitcoin, we're at a value low. We want to prepare for that bullish posture. I'll look at the 4-hour time frame right now. We've got this wick level here that you can mark for a potential sweep. That wick level's at 3705. So if you get an SFP there, you compare for a target of the most recent pullback. So for example, this is our most recent pullback on Cardano. So if we had an SFP during this moment, you'd be targeting here. So see what we get along the way if we do get that sweep. If not, I'll be preparing like now, honestly, for longs. Just got to get that bullish change of character. And I would use like the 15-minute time frame as well on Cardano. Right now, the 15-minute key level is like way up here, right? But like I said before, with Bitcoin, 2 candle pullback, lower low, it'll evolve your key level for a change of character from here to around here. And if we get that, we can prepare for a potential long opportunity. And the negative space between the current price action and the evolving momentum is about 2 days as well. So it is also suggesting like a 2-day consolidation, like based on the momentum. But it is crypto. We can go straight up. We can go straight down really violently. Who knows? It's just a matter of waiting for the right posture to tell us that we are going to reverse. And right now it's telling us nothing yet. And we have this little demand zone here that we could mark on our chart, but we've already mitigated it, so there's not that much point to that. So the last real key level that we got is like this low. You could pull a fib, but realistically, I can't really visualize it being honored. Yeah, it's already been mitigated. Most of the key levels I watch for are gone, which is usually like the golden pocket to the 786. So yeah, sit in your hands with Cardano as well. Very similar posture to Bitcoin. Good morning, HRJ. How you doing, man? You're down 10K on Cardano. That's scary. Oh, 80-cent average. Okay. Yeah, I can see how that can be a little scary. Inverse perpetual trades will help you get up if you're a profitable trader. If not, yeah, trying to sell partial amounts at a value area high when you have that bearish change of character, then rebuy at a value area low to like reduce your average more and more over time by doing like a recycled DCA. Okay, next request was Polkadot. So we have a dot chart. Haven't looked at it since the 2nd of December though. Cardano's been a letdown. Yeah. We had a key level drawn here for longs, but it never broke. We tapped into it twice and then came down. Let's see here. Can delete this. We have to zoom out a little bit more on DOT. DOT's been in price discovery since losing its range, and this range is very important for DOT. Like we were in this range for over 1,000 days, 1,200 days. I have a little bit of DOT, and I bought it at the low of this range before this rally right here. Expecting, like preparing for a rotation to the value high, but I had my eyes focused on other assets, and then I didn't get out in time. But it wasn't that much DOT, luckily, so I could DCA in if I find that we might be finally having a reversal. But right now, every time we have a key level where we need to have it broken, it fails to break it, and we keep going into a perpetual downtrend right now. I doubt that it's on its way to claim the wick low. We can't rule it out of the cards, but right now, if we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, like our key level is way up here. But based on our distance, we could get a new key level and maybe retesting these lows and then getting a lower low. Hourly time frame, yeah, same thing. So this is a multi-time frame key level. 15-minute, same thing. 5-minute is right about here. If we had this little 3-minute consolidative point here that kind of acted like as a form of resistance. And we just kept going down, built a little bit of a neckline here for a lower time frame key level. But let's see what we get. It's gonna be really dependent on Bitcoin, on how we do short term for DOT, because there's a lot of Bitcoin pairing liquidity. But long term, DOT has just been kind of a letdown, not doing very well. So yeah, I'll maybe watch this level, $1.90 for a key level right now for short term longs, but it's nothing like swing bound unless we break above $2 and 2.009. Our next, there's not much left to look at. Basically a price discovery. I'll save this chart and I'll switch it back to the hourly for anyone who is using it. Okay, so we looked at Bitcoin, we looked at Cardano, we looked at DOT. $3.50 average per DOT. I'm not seeing the market structure 11x indicator. Is the paid thing or free? And am I just blind? It's a paid indicator. That's why. It's like a bundle that you get. I do have a link below for you guys to get like 10% off, but it is a paid indicator. I do recommend when it comes to paid indicators in general that you like make sure you have your rules in place and that you've proven to be profitable before investing in it. In case you want to go, create an LLC or a corporate so you can write off the expense. I say that because based on my experience, like I made a lot of mistakes as a beginner investing in a lot of like indicators, and I kind of wish I didn't. But if I were to make a suggestion out of every indicator that I have ever used or paid for, 11x is I think the only one that's ever been worth it. You know what I mean? Mainly just from the alert system alone, just being able to be alerted when a change of character happens so you can look at your screen when it's actually appropriate instead of, staring at your screen all day. But you can do that with horizontal raise too. Just setting up key levels and just having alert go off whenever price action crosses it. Kyle, I think you prefer a long position over a short position. Am I wrong? I have no emotion. So if you talked to me like 5 years ago, I would say long position, but I'm a lot more dynamic now than I was before the past. Like you'll see me take shorts. I think I've taken more shorts in the past, in this range at least, than I have longs. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 shorts, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like about 5 longs that I could see on the screen. But most of my shorts have, I think they're the ones that played out the most. Because we caught the top like fucking twice perfectly. And we didn't, some people didn't hold it to the bottom. And I was one of those people. I just hold it to the bottom of the range. But yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Longs or shorts. It's whatever the market gives me that makes it, like so long as I feel safe and the risk to reward ratio is there, I'll take it. I am a Bitcoin holder, so I would prefer to be jumping into longs. So I know that my portfolio is going up alongside with me, but you got to separate your mindset from your spot account when you're doing your scalp trades. They have 2 separate goals, right? All right, we have a request to look at Chainlink. So let's see. Yeah, Bitcoin's coming down. So this is a supply now. A supply concern right here. So when we come back up here, short-term scalp traders might take a short here. And we're coming down right now to a hourly order block. We've fallen below this little local point of control, previous point of control. And we're coming down to that valley area low where that demand zone is. So when we get down here, this could induce a bounce, but we have to watch this as a barrier now. We have the confluence of the 27-day previous valley area low and this little supply zone. So when we get there, we have to potentially prepare for it to knock us down the first time around. Okay, let's see. Chain link, right. So we'll open up chain link. And zoom out on this thing. Lots of noise I gotta delete here. We were mostly looking for correction recently. We have this descending regression trend here. And yeah, when we're preparing for longs, we had a lot of these box zones to prepare to hit our head off of. We hit our head off of this. This was a zone of interest for shorts as well. We really wanted to see acceptance into this valley area here, but we never got it. We failed like twice. We can delete this noise though. So if you click and you hold Control and you drag your mouse, you can highlight a bunch of stuff at once, and you can delete it all at once that way. Unless you're a Mac user, play. Okay. Lots of fast moves here. So I pulled a fixed range volume profile here. We had supply here that we mitigated when we came up through here before. So a lot of the interest is here. We can see that we have a volume gap here. So price action is moving quickly as we get through this area. It's basically a lack of interest. You can see we move quickly here, and we might just well do the same along the way down. If we do get down to here, we have a big volume shelf that starts right here, and that price point is at $12.20. So at $12.20, we do know we have the volume shelf there, but we also have the confluence of an hourly order block waiting for us down there too. So as we approach this like two tap momentum, meaning it's not really something you can trust just yet, unless you see a buy wall in the order books around that area. So as we come up to the two tap momentum and the order block, you can prepare for longs around here. So the ceiling of the order block is around $12.28. The floor is $12.20. So within the ceiling and the floor there, we can prepare for potential longs. I could move this to back. And we can mark our broad momentum here for the pace of the sellers. And it suggests that before we start to reverse, that we could consolidate for up to 5 days. We'll see what happens. Last time we were here, we had this double bottom that lasted a day, night, and 17 hours, and this inverse head and shoulders that lasted a day and 12 hours. So hopefully history repeats, and it's only about a day or 24-hour long consolidation where we end up getting that reversal structure, prepare for the entry, but then we have to watch the value area low as a potential barrier. Right? The same reason why we are watching this volume shelf for a potential support bounce. We have to watch this value area low, where this volume shelf is, as potential resistance when we come through here. But if we get that acceptance, then we can hope for the full rotation to the opposite side of this valley area. The valley area is fairly balanced once you get within it. So there isn't really that many key levels other than like this point of control that could get in your way of reaching that valley area high. But yeah, that is chain link. I hope that helps you out. So It's the pathing posture that I'll be looking for. Either like a long, potentially here, or just a long in general in this zone. All right. And I'll leave this on the hourly time frame as well for anyone who's using it, but likely use 15-minute time frame to actually for the confirmation. Okay, so we looked at Cardano, Chainlink, DOT, Bitcoin, Kyle, it was a nice short from 90,000 this morning. Took 75% off the table. Nice. Letting the last bit run now. Good job, man. Yeah, you're building some barriers alongside your short there, with the supply zone in the way now, the value area low in the way. I'll be mindful of like bullish posture here, where you might want to take some off the table. If you're in a short, you're definitely going to hope for a full body close below 80,000, but yeah, don't want you to get married to the trade. Just prepare for the opposing confluences. And luckily it just went straight down ever since you entered there, so barely any emotion. You can have your stop loss in the profit zone at 87.5. Let's see. Now, how do you look this fine on a Monday? Bro, I woke up so groggy this morning. And it's like, blah. But every Monday for crypto over the past like 3 weeks have been pretty boring anyways. You're so short I can walk through the dog door. Is that before or after you enter the trade? It's funny, man. You have stops at 875. Nice. All right, cool. Perfect. All right, so request to look at Esther and Zcash. Let's take a look at Zcash. That thing's been on a tear. I want to see how much is pulled back from that. So I don't have that many drawings on Zcash, do I? I'm going to right click and find out. Oh, 64 drawings. Can't be. All right, let's see. Okay, so all right, we're good. Last time it looks like we drew, we got the downtrending momentum here. We had the supply concern here drawn up, and we broke the momentum. We never hit the full-on technical target for this massive double top, which was down here at 245. I did mention that there was a big, strong key level here at 275. We front run that a little bit, by about 25 bucks, before we end up getting that bullish change of character. We pulled back, looks like to a good, the golden pocket 76 level, before we returned back up with a double bottom. Then we hit our head off the supply with the confluence of that valley area low for this consolidative range. So we are kind of on our potential path to come back down. If we close below this low, we flip bearish. But like right now, and we're basically at a key low where you prepare for potential longs back up here. We can delete some of these boxes here. Let's grab. We have a demand zone. We need to draw right here from this structure. We have this impulse move up, pull back, impulse move up. So we built a demand zone that we end up using as support 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times. And now we're breaking the local downtrending momentum here. Now Zcash, now I know Bitcoin's looking a little bit bearish, more downtrendy right now, but Zcash does have relative strength. It moves a lot on its own. If we zoom out on this on the daily, you get a good understanding of that this thing just went on a huge, massive tear recently, while everything else was kind of just in a downtrend. But yeah, so locally, we can prepare for potential longs to just scalp it back up. I'm not thinking that this is the move. I actually do think that we're more likely to come down longer term, whereas we're pooling more and more liquidity below us. If we come up here, I think we're going to hit our head, lose momentum, and then come back down shortly afterwards, unless we get acceptance into the valley area. If we get acceptance into the valley area, then we're going to go likely right up to the valley area high again. But we have 2 daily order blocks in our face that likely will prevent that from happening. So I'm more bearish than bullish because of that. We have 1 daily order block here. And whether you guys have the indicator or not, because I'm drawing these levels on the chart, you'll still be able to see them. So we can delete this noise. Go back to the hourly. So because of the SFP that we had occur, that evolved our strong high from here to here during the SFP moment, we have flipped bullish here. And because we failed to close below that wick, we are still bullish despite us getting that lower low sweep. So we're actually still on our path to hitting this SFP target, which is this high. We're basically hitting it very shortly. But if we get a close above that, we'll close above the 50-day E. So if we break that, just prepare for us to pull back and like retest this level before continuing to go back up. But we could also just as easily fail here, have a low time frame, like 5-minute bearish, change of character, and then come back down from here. So this zone is going to be an area you have to watch out for just because of the supply risk. But the 50-day EMA might help hold up the price alongside with the previous high here. So we'll see what happens. But I prefer that if you took this trade that you had Bitcoin's confluence. So if you had seen Bitcoin confirm a reversal, that Zcash might get that extra boost up. Even though it has relative strength, you kind of want to have, you know, Bitcoin on your side for all your trades. When do I get a wrench? When do I get a wrench? Kind of rude. I thought we family. What wrench, bro? I don't get it. See, if you're, I'm hoping that it stays down for anyone who's in a short. I'm not in a trade right now, so I'm not biased. I'm just waiting for the structure. Moderator. Oh, moderator. I got you. Yeah, that's a good idea, man. Get you set up today. Shabam. I gave him the wrench. Oxo Crypto has a wrench. Look out. So he wants to time out JR. Yeah. Uh-oh. Not a modder otter. Yeah. All right, cool. So let's get, we went through Zcash. Let's go through Esther. There's another request. How's Esther been doing? 85 cents. We're at a key level right now as we speak. Yeah, we were hopeful to see us prepare for a long here last time, but it never came down to mitigate it. But we're tapping into it now. So we delete this stuff now. Yeah, hourly order block. Let's see. Our momentum. 5 days away. 4 hour. Got a negative space here. I know a lot of people have a hard time trusting trend lines that have a lot of negative space away from it, but just be aware that the order books are your friends during this moment. It'll tell you whether the trend line's actually going to even help you. We can delete this. We've mitigated that. Move this here. But yeah, locally right now for Esther, we're in a critical spot, right? Because we closed below this demand zone. We are in price discovery. So hopefully we don't go into price discovery, because that means it's kind of like low gravity interest, right? So the psychological levels, the price tag is what you're going to be looking at the most, and the order books. So like 75 cents key level, 80 cents, rounded numbers, basically. You think of the rounded numbers. If we get below here, they're going to be key levels that you'd watch. And then you have to really depend on market structure to define when it's safe to enter a trade at that point. So I'm hopeful that we stay above here. So we do not want to have a full body candle close below like 81.49 or 81.50. But yeah, right now, same kind of thing. Sitting on your hands, waiting for a key level to break. And when we're looking at these time frames here, the 15-minute, this is the most recent proper pullback. We didn't have a 2 candle consecutive pullback until then. All this would give us is a potential flip. It won't give us an actual change of character. And we can pull a momentum here. Building supply above us right here and here. So when we get that bullish change of character, hopefully within this zone, we just got to watch these zones along the way up, but I'll be targeting this downtrending momentum. This previous high, basically. Where we have this bearish 15-minute order block. But nothing yet. But yeah, I'm very hopeful that we hold this though, because I'm not a big holder of Esther, but I'm a holder of Esther. Do you think clairvoyant strat alone generates enough trades to grow an account? Since I'm still struggling to backtest and I have to ask this away. Yeah, so that strategy will give you 3 to 5 trades per week. Roughly. Depends on the range. If we have like because you can use that strategy in any time frame, right? So any value area, you could use that strategy. So it all depends on the time frame. If you're looking for the 15-minute time frame for 15-minute change to character, you usually give a 3 to 5 per week. So you can grow your account with it, but it'll be slower than a scalp trading strategy. That's more faster pace. That allows you to compound at faster speeds. You'll defend me with my schlong. Thanks, bro. Okay. Karma, Pump, Sui, Soul. Let's take a peek at Karma. Go with deck screener. Karma still dancing above this value area high, trying to use it as support. We are starting to breach momentum. We broke out of it to the upside, kind of got this equal high, tweezer top reaction. So we're just kind of consolidating at this previous high in anticipation. People are like preparing for this CMC listing from the coin market cap. And once it's listed there, we'll be able to use our APIs for new tools. We just did, we just changed our APIs and stuff like that recently because our APIs updated. So it broke some of our tools, but we just fixed them over the weekend. But like our burn report system and our forecasting system, it just wasn't notifying people, so we just got that fixed. But yeah, we're just sitting at the value high, waiting for like that bullish change of character or for the run up towards this our supply risk at 10 cents here. So next little zone, we've mitigated this, which is great. We saw some whales leave, so we'll have less competition when we come up towards the all-time high again. We got a request to look at Pump and Sui and Sol. Pump. What is Pump? We don't have a Pump chart. I'll pull it up on Bybit. Yeah. So with Pump, the last thing we were looking at was we were inside this value area range. We've been consolidating in this for about 26 days, so about the same time Bitcoin has been in its range. We recently also hit our head off the downtrending momentum that's been holding it down since the all-time high at 0.009. Now we're at 0.002, so we had a significant drop on Pump. Let's zoom out a little further. How close we are to price discovery on this thing. Pretty close. We have this wick level marked, but it was mitigated from this flash crash on October 10th. So I don't trust it as much, but you might still see people react to it, because I've noticed that previous levels that were mitigated from these flash crash wicks are still being honored a lot. So I'd keep an eye on it, but I wouldn't treat it as like a traditional SFP if we swept it and closed above it. I'd be cautious and wait for the actual change character. Unless you're taking something that's more local, like this one here. And this one's fine. And that's kind of what we're coming towards right now. We're heading there now. We had a 4-hour order block here that was just mitigated. And then we end up getting that internal change of character. Things are internal between this low and this high. So we kind of want to have this low taken so we can have more a lot more traders participate on setups that are not internal. We have a lot of 4-hour order blocks above us, but they all start right here with the confluence of the value area low. So we move this, update it to the point where we lost the value area. And you should mark that value area low as a key level of interest, because that can likely act as a form of resistance the first time we come around here. But preparing for, I'd recommend preparing for longs here. A high time frame full, like a 4-hour, for example, a candle close below this could lead the price down further. Right now, this is our 4-hour key level, so hopefully we have a pullback soon. Lower low to give us a lower key level for a change of character, so we can front run acceptance into this valley area again. But when you front run it, like I said before, you got to watch it potentially acting as a form of resistance. So we're either waiting for that sweep or the bullish change of character. Let's pump, man. I'm really hopeful that we're getting close to the point where this thing breaks the upside. I'm not a holder of this thing. I don't know anything about it, honestly. But yeah, if we break this momentum while getting acceptance in this value area, I think we have a good shot to get to the value area high from that moment, and just watch our head at this 50-day EMA in confluence with that value area high. From value area low to value area high, this is a 15% range. I'm going back to Bitcoin. Still on our way down slowly. Sui request. How is Sui doing? Okay. I'm just going to zoom out on this thing a little further. And we're looking at, this is a target from this high, this previous value area high. We can update this. We got our own value area here. That will be helpful to us when we return back up here. So we can see we have this previous value area high and previous value area low are pretty much flush with each other here. If we do come back up through here, this gonna be a potential key barrier along the way. You could pull a fixed range volume profile from this moment forward. It's similar to, what was the other asset that we were looking at that looked just like this? We have a volume gap here. I think it was maybe a chain link. Volume gap here. We had consolidation, giving us this key level, our own little, basically our own value area here. So we come down through here. We have to watch this value area high, which is like perfectly flush with that volume shelf. But we're likely to move quickly down through here, just like we have every single time we came through here. There's not very much interest in this area, so there's no asks or buy orders, no sell orders. So we have these volume spikes. So we'll see if it happens again. If we close below this volume shelf, then we're likely just going to teleport right down to that value high. So at 139 is going to be an area where I prepare for longs. If we don't get the longs off the value area high, then we have two stacking order blocks right here for longs as well. So 4-hour order blocks. And they start at 136.34. So I anticipate that faster pace drop if we close below this wick level here at 149.3. So the pathing would look like this basically. We'll see what happens. But right now we're at an area where you prepare for longs. Either we get this or not. And we're at that value area low, which is lacking the bullish posture. We did have a proper pullback on SUI on the 15-minute, and that key level is marked right here. We did wick the low, so we need to have a close below here so we can actually evolve this as our key level. And then from there, you could potentially prepare for that long. I'll be targeting this previous low alongside the VWAP. That's your first barrier of concern. If we get that close above that, and acceptance in the value area simultaneously. But down here will give you much better risk to reward ratio and better odds of a return. All right, so that's SUI. What we got in the chat? Did we cover Solana already? Nope, I don't think we have. We can take a peek at that. Internal beauty finder, Bitcoin reversal area at 73 to 75K. Getting down there is not a big ask. We have a lot of barriers along the way to get there, but yeah, we'd be in a state of capitulation at 74K, meaning over 50% of holders would be holding at a loss. And that usually is like a macro reversal indicator. Okay. And okay, Solana was there another request. Sol. Yeah, Sol just recently had this wild sweep of this high before it came down. Last time we were looking at Sol was on the 12th. We're preparing for this demand zone to act as potentially as support or as SFP level here. Looks like we got a little bit of a support bounce, but we came into the weekend and it just consolidated through the weekend. It was really boring. But then we came down, we got this SFP off the wick level that we had marked, and it did extremely well. I went way beyond its technical target. We can delete and update this a bit. Yeah. We're coming back down to these lows again. It's very barely slightly uptrending, but we're at the momentum now. We're at a structural valley area low that's 252 days old. So this key level, I know I talk about a lot when we look at Solana, but it's a really important key level for longs. It's the valley area low for this 252-day consolidation. We use it as support here to run up to the valley area high, support here, valley area high, and now we're here again, preparing for that valley area high rotation. And we stacked quite a bit of liquidity above us on Solana to help induce that move up. It's just a matter of you trying to front run that. You know, at the valley area low, front run the break of this valley area high support bounce. Once we have that proper support bounce and not just an SFP or a change of character rejection, then we can hold it to around 170. But 144 is so strong right now. It's the point of control of that previous range. And it's the valley area high of our active range. So those stacking confluences have caused a problem, keep driving the price down. We do have like this internal momentum here. And we're starting to get that squeeze event between the uptrending momentum and the downtrending momentum. The apex point is in about 3 days. I usually break up prior to that. Going back to the 4 hour, we can see we have the 4 hour order block here. From this doji reaction, impulse move up. So we're at a really good spot to prepare for longs on Solana. We're just, again, lacking structure. You could use the 15-minute time frame for a change of character. Yep. Yeah, 15-minute would be good for looking for a safe change of character around this area for longs. Yeah, sit in our hands here too. We do not speak the words 144. Yeah, that number is like a curse on Solana. But if you're aware of that, then you know there's opportunities there, right? Every time we get there, or every time we've gotten there, it's given us a great short opportunity. Not saying that it will again this time, but you should keep your eyes on it as we come up there again. Could get our head hit up there again and rotate right back down. But the more we consolidate here, get new investors in, old investors out, the better it is for Solana long term. Can we look at gold? Gold. So this is gold against USDT. We have the supply zone that we drew last time we were looking at it. Looks like we were looking for longs. Oh no, it was a short. Okay, it was a short. We had this key level here drawn for a short. And we're anticipating a bounce off this demand zone. And we got the bounce off the demand zone. We got the short opportunity. For anyone who took it, congratulations. Let's see. We do have this little demand zone or valley area here. We have a valley area here. We could use that information as we come back down, or if we come back down for support. We have a strong volume shelf at 4,225. You can watch for support off of. We do have barriers prior to that, and I'll mark them in a second. It's a previous value high at 240. Yeah, 420. Yeah, 4,224. This demand zone is still a good key area of interest. Delete this noise. We have a demand zone here, but it'll be a little bit tough to trust. So you definitely need to wait for a structure when we get down there, like you should, usually. And the reason why it's tough to trust is just because of this wick that came down into it, mitigated quite a bit of it, and contributed to this move up before we hit our head off this hourly order block into our more macro supply concern. So we could be, failing to create that higher high and getting that bearish change of character, but it'll be internal. But if we get that break from this low, then we come right back down to this value area high. Otherwise, I'll be waiting for bullish posture here first, in case this induces a range. But yeah, close below this demand, expect the rotation down. Bullish change of character here, expect for it to come right back up to the local highs again. So that's gold. I hope that helps you out. You're short from 4,350. Good job, man. We had like a low time frame head and shoulders there. Right here. We didn't sweep the high, which would make a lot of people uncomfortable, but we did go into an order block telling us that there's residual sell orders there. And we created an order block. And during order block creation, it's always a good time. It's always a good feeling jumping in during order block creation because there's a chance of institutional involvement in the setup. And when you have institutions on your side, normally retail will drive the price pretty violently the direction that you're looking at. But yeah, I can see what your reasoning for jumping in, man. Congratulations. Good short. Yeah, either off of based on your price point, it'll likely be off the golden pocket from this high to this low. Otherwise, I can see a lot of reasoning for jumping in. As soon as we close, we got the breakage structure on the head and shoulders. We also closed below the VWAP in confidence with that. The only thing that would make some traders nervous is the fact that we had like this little low time frame, little demand zone here that could hold the price a bit, but it got mitigated pretty quick and it came down to these lows where I would be preparing to take some off the table. It's a great short, man. I think this one right here would have been the best opportunity. If the golden pocket, short, using the previous high as your stop loss guard. You'd be targeting the VWAP first in hopes that it breaks down further. Great job. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin. Still slow crawling down. Let's grab chat. Let's see what we have. Can we look at BNB? We could do that. I haven't looked at BNB in a month. Or at least not on TradingView. Alright, delete this. So our old key levels that we had drawn for shorts. You don't need that. Well, I'll keep that one on there. Yeah, BNB, in my opinion, has been I've probably one of the best performing network tokens of this entire cycle. Especially if you're to isolate, the OG ones from the new ones. Like this thing has been doing it so well. Which has given Karma a lot of free money, a lot of free liquidity. But yeah, right now, BNB is struggling against this supply here. Right, we mitigate a large majority of it. If we were to update it to mitigation, it'd be right here. I'm a holder of about 80 BNB. And one of our best trades in the with the community was on BNB actually. If we zoom out on BNB on the daily, there's this guy down here. We broke this 1,000-day long downtrend. Yeah, we got in here. A lot of the members got out here. But yeah, this thing was amazing. Went straight. Our gold pocket was the technical target. We breached that really quickly and used it as support. This thing's been a beast. But yeah, right now we're kind of dancing off of this demand zone here. Right? We hit our head off supply. We're coming back down like everything else is kind of coming down. We could prepare for, a test of this uptrending momentum, but preferably I would hope that we get a sweep off these lows to prepare for like an SFP, like a large time frame SFP, maybe a daily one. 4 hour looks, 4 hour looks great for an SFP as well. So I'd mark these wick lows in preparation for something like that. But yeah, this thing's gonna look a lot like majority of the assets, big volume gap coming down towards an area of interest. We can pull a fixed range from the mitigated supply here to here. Looks like most of the interest is here at 893, where that ceiling of this supply is made here. So we have to watch this as a concern along the way up. But yeah, we're approaching the Valerie high where we prepare for longs. Our momentum's pretty broad. So I'm anticipating for us to get, not too concerned about it. We can watch this along the way in case there's a sell wall here. But, it's pretty broad momentum. So I'll be watching this mostly on the 15-minute time frame. Yeah. And looking for longs between here and here, basically. Or the sweep of the low. Just gotta wait for the bullish structure. We're just lacking that right now. We're building more supply issues here that could end up causing resistance in the future. Similar to everything else. Just gotta sit on our hands a little bit longer. BNB does move really tightly alongside Bitcoin, but there are some brief periods where BNB will kind of decouple and have relative strength. But it doesn't usually have relative weakness lately. Just the relative strength moments. Unless we have like a big burst at the upside, and then it'll have relative weakness to kind of correct and give it a pullback. We spoke about Esther. You think I marked the OR15 incorrectly today? Let's see. You are correct, good sir. I did mark this incorrectly. Yeah, I marked it off the 945 candle instead of the 932 945. So we have an orb here. Good thing though, I was looking for a confluence on that SFP with the orb 15 and it didn't play out. I would have trusted that SFP a heck of a lot more if it closed inside the OR 15 that I drew. I really appreciate you bringing that up. You could have saved me some money. And so all that really acts as now is a confluence with what I was worried about before. Right? If we came up here for a long, I would be watching this previous low as a barrier. So now we got the floor of the orb as a barrier too. But now the VWAP's kind of caught up past it. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, man. Because right here before, we had this change of character during the active candle. It was looking like it was about to give us an SIP. And I was hoping that it would close inside the orb in confluence with that. But we never got the SIP. We got the bearish change of character instead, so it told me not to jump into the trade. CRO. Do we have a CRO chart? No way. Chronos. Oh, relative strength today. Nice, okay. CRO is approaching uptrending momentum here. Let's get rid of this. This uptrending momentum has been holding it up in this ridiculous broadening wedge. Like this thing, it's just stupid. Like you wouldn't so when you see a broadening wedge, they usually are in lower time frames, and they normally tell you a story of like volume, like a lack of confidence, and then volume starts to pick up as we get closer and closer to a key level, right? Whether it's ascending or descending. But this thing has just been absolutely wild. It's been doing this broadening wedge for 1,100 days, which is the biggest I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I don't think I'll ever see a bigger one in my career unless you guys point one out to me. But this is, yeah, next level. So around here, we prepare for a violent return back up. But the percentage, like it always like shocks me whenever it happens. Because last time it was like a 200% move. This time around, if we get the bullish change of character, it would likely be around, you know, another 188%. But what we really wanted to see have happened the last time we came up here, and I was kind of hopeful that it was the last time we came up here because we're getting above like this key level here at 21 cents. But we never honored it as support at all. We came down, broke below it, and had it act as resistance and drove us right back down. So looking at this is like a swing trade kind of positioning for Chronos right now. You would prefer to have this low taken first. It might not, but you would prefer to have it taken so we can have the internal change of character because of this wick. Pretty much everything's internal between this high and this low. So yeah, we're looking for internal changes of character, internal reactions until this high is taken to undo it, or if this low is taken. So if we don't get that internal sweep here, then this won't be an internal change of character when we break this high. It would be a way up here. So hopefully when we see this break, we may take this low first. We have more trade participants on the daily, and we'll have the 50-day EMA confluence if we break that. But yeah, so it'll make some sense if we see Chronos have some relative strength here, guys. Just because it's a huge macro key level for it. And looking at the 6 hour, yeah, our key level is way up here on the 6 hour at 0.1250. And it seems kind of steep to ask for this to be broken. But you think about where we are relative to where we could go is insane. So I mark the wick level low. Hope for the sweep. So front run the move up. Otherwise, we're looking for that bullish change of character. I appreciate you bringing that up. I'm going to kind of retain that in my memory. I prepare for this more of a macro move here. This It could be a good spot hold very soon, guys. Or CRO. Not financial advice, but if I saw the break of this double bottom neckline, I'd be buying some of it. Okay. Bitcoin's on its way down still. Get closer to our demand zone. All right, guys, I gotta head out. But yeah, volume. Yeah, like you said there, Nick, volume is starting to finally pick up. I hopefully will get you guys a signal today as we approach this key level here. Remember, this is the hourly. We got an hourly order block here, a previous point of control here. So we have decent reasoning to prepare for a reversal off this level. If we don't get it here, we have our next little sweep level at 83,755. If we don't get it there, I'll be looking at this giant key level here at 82,280. The lower this Bitcoin goes, the more likely that this valley area low is going to act as resistance the first time we tap it at 87K, 87,150. But what we're aiming for is a trade that also has a follow-up form of acceptance into that value area so we can get that rotation to the value area high. But if we have to get in and then get out right after at like maybe the supply zone, then I think that the R&R would still be on our side for a good setup. Just a quick in and then potentially out here. All right, guys, you have a great day. Do not hesitate to reach out to me if you need help with anything. Just be careful of any impersonators that might message you. If you have any trade questions, or if you need help like understanding what kind of debt you should target first, or what kind of account size do you need in order for you to live as a trader, what kind of win rate should you have, and like any question, there's no such thing as a dumb question in this space. This is not common sense for a lot of people, right? This is a tricky thing you're trying to get into here, right? So don't hesitate to ask questions. No question is a dumb question. And I'll see you guys in the next live on Wednesday. Tonight we have the mindset call with Jim Moore, and tomorrow we have our trade hunting call in the morning. So I'll see you guys then.